We're just following girldom around. I'll be jumping back to my server in a bit. So I went to bed. And then threw up my dinner about an hour later. So I haven't slept well. 'Twas a waste of a career dinner. I'm probably going to pause in a few hours and go get more food. 'Cause all I've eaten is the chilu. Ah, I remember this taking a long time to find on computer. Let's see, where were we going? Here we go, more chores. Hello, Xman. And Hexid. Hello, Sid. Oh joy, more chores. Oh. Hello, Meowseekins. No playing, only fight. So I think on Bugulu we spent like 10 minutes trying to find this. Found it. Off to kill more light wardens then. This looks stupid. A lot of gear you get in the main story quest isn't the greatest appearances. The stuff that's worth getting is the dungeon gear. Even then. Usually you don't find a set that actually looks good. Most players tend to have a mixture of tomes and primal gear. And when people want to match a very specific aesthetic, they will seek those pieces out. Just like in other games like Magnone. Listen, if it's not pink, red or white, I'm probably not gonna wear it. This is raid gear. This is Tome's gear. This is the stock outfit from something. I think this was the crafter gear that's actually a recolor of the default retainer gear. This is also Tome's gear. No, wait, this is Void Arc Raid gear. This is the stock Red Mage outfit. And this is the stock Samurai outfit. This is from the World of Darkness raid. And of course my works with everything glamour. This is what the gear I'm wearing looked like without the glamour applied. Honestly, I don't like things that cover me hair. Hats don't fit in real life. We stealing the bees. Not the bees. Time to bazaar. So look at the mirrors. This will be referenced a few times. Take note of the shapes. Acha. Black Mage. Warrior. White Mage. And I forget what this one was. Yeah. Run one. Funny how the microphone heard that it's behind. Chill. Sure. It's a tiny worm. You're cool. I think I'm going in the wrong direction. You found a great worm, surfing. I'm live, where am I going? Whoa. Why are we doing quests for this? Quest for the forest snake. I don't remember, but I think I did these on Bubbaloo too. They talking about now? Hey. sneezing. Saving the world. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Gee, not the first time he pulled that trick. How about no? Not gonna take this, Llama punch him. Let's go. Are we the baddies? Yeah. Snack, Oppo, wolf, use your eyes. Okay. Enter the bunny people. Also, I remember when I reached this point on Bibulu, the Jorts the Cat story dropped. A long line of bunnies. Feels a bit repetitive. Talk to the residents. Do some chores. Fight some random thing. Eventually dungeon. To be fair, Final Fantasy XIV isn't really fillery. If anything, it's just applied phlebotinum. Where there's some really wordy explanation for something that could have been described by waving your hands and going magic. That word comes from Star Trek's version of it. Basically, explaining a fictional concept to drive the plot. Star Trek is usually pretty consistent. Apparently, World of Warcraft is pretty poor at consistency. Like I like consistency. As long as the reason you explain it has some payoff, go ahead. But if you're just living everything, and if I question it later, and you can't even remember what you said last, time well that inconsistent. Like if you want me to play a story game, you can't make stupid mistakes that contradict previously established concepts. So that's what it would look like. I kinda want to get something to eat. It's only been 3 hours. Okay, let's try this again. So I decided to buy wraps instead of buns this time. Hey. I'm the wrong side. No. This is from the Shooter Ray. He will help. You think they would help? A puzzle. Really kind stare. Bear cry. What? Was there an owl statue? Just another bunna. Indiana Jones quickly spot the owl with a bag of sand. Another carry mission. Funny you should say that. The Monster Hunter crossover was in the previous patch. Ganwell is it called? This one. Yep, that's the Final Fantasy XIV crossover boss. The mechanics for this fight are very different. Plus, you get nerfed to heck as a healer. This should work. Will Behemoth in 14 is the mid-boss of the Labyrinth Raid of the Crystal Tau. So even Behemoth isn't a high-end boss. Indiana Jones. Down dome. Betrayal. She'll get better. Huh. Tancred is not the only one to come back from the dead. 3 doses. Won't be necessary. Right on cue. Remember, we brought her back from the dead once already. That's what I mean. Everyone died once already. He said to whistle. Last time she popped out naked. Sensor glare lord. Gotta make another wrap one set. Ah. See, he know. So, her first trip through the ethereal sea made her go blind. Her second trip probably just made her more cheerful. Unless you think this is the last time this will happen. Same with Tancred. Poor boy dies like in every expansion, I swear. Anyway. Go. Okay, let's push the story ahead. We're like missing one from each zone. And part of that is I threw away the other compass. Want to see what raid this is from? I was able to solo this. This was super fun when it was released. Also the first time in the game where something becomes a constant. This becomes relevant later with the raids in this pack. I guess it's a little too easy now. I could do this solo at level 60, I swear. Hard mode. Okay, maybe that's a little too hard. I must have had raid gear. Wait, maybe I recorded it. Okay, the external hard drive didn't like that. Offering. Nobody is ever online, I like just doing chill hangouts in the game. Well, I was just tagging along with girldom on the other data center. Also, I know DM's playstyle. not gonna bring rondos into her cutter. When I started the stream, she was literally there. No, she probably didn't notice anyone that wasn't in her parka. Hanging out with live viewers more than past purpose. She just wanted to do a lot of pose. And I'm cool with that. That's cheapo. As opposed to which just hides the UI. Did they remove some of these? Cause I swear there were more. This one should unlock in the next area. Yeah. Hello, X-Man. Huh? What's funny? Is that you're a little tougher than the squads. Like watch what happens when I do nothing. Sanka Tank actually uses his tank skills as best as possible. Human players tend to just blow all the cooldown. Though I've seen more than one fight ended with just the tank surviving because they used the cooldowns correctly. A lot of players are what I call dungeon rushing, where they create a chain of monsters
away with you!
And all of them at once. Now if you like doing it that way, fine. But give the healer a heads up before you end up pulling 3 groups of monsters, cause it's really hard to save a tank that doesn't use their cooldowns at the right time. I've noticed that a lot of dungeons since Heavenward have actually put these doors or other road cones in their way of pulling 3 groups of monsters. It's really hard to balance a game with a healing mechanic. Because if the healer is overpowered, they can do this, and just do nothing while the tank does all the work. And if the game is balanced too heavily on needing a dedicated healer, then DPs end up taking dirt naps a lot. Like in other MMO games I've played, they don't balance healing. Basically, the healer class is useless cause pots exist. Final Fantasy is the opposite. There is a 70-second cooldown on using a pod. And heals only 30%. You'll notice that the only place pods get used in this game is the deep dungeon. Plus, the deep dungeon's mechanics are based around all characters being beat. So you don't need a healer or a tank. On the flip side of that, every class has one heal skill. But the problem there is that people use the heal skill when they should be relying on the healer. You have a healer, it costs them nothing to beat. Whereas if you use your heal skill, Well, you're lowering your DPs, or lowering your tank enemy. So you are actually doing poorly if you use your self-heal. And likewise, the healer is doing poorly if they are not healing. And this argument floats around the Final Fantasy forums a lot, where people who play Diffus find that healers are dead weight. And it's like, you think that? Go into a dungeon and then both check the healer and try to finish it. Cause you'll only finish a few dungeons that way. And let the tank carry you. Like the only DPs that can do this is the summoner. And maybe the red mage. Depends on the level of the dungeon. Because both the summoner and the red mage can be healed and a revive that can be cast. So if you have one of them in the party, yes, maybe you could finish a dungeon. But you're going to take a lot longer to do so, as you're cutting the DPS down due to someone using their heals.
Prepare yourself!
Like white mage is like a dozen different ways to heal, but really like to. Yeah, that's the thing. If you look at the damage log, pretty much all of the damage is still by each tile. Oh wait. No, it was definitely Ishtalda. She was doing 21,000 damage. Only did such big damage. Like you see how you using my skill does like 3,000 damage. Versus Ishtola does like 8,000 and 21,000. In the same cast time. Size does more damage. Wait, that's a long cooldown. Like basic strategy for white mage is to use Kisai as often as possible. That way you don't run out of magic that fast. Hey, look, it's not Cerberus. Set the blind later. How creepy. Sound familiar. Primals. This is like one of the best lore drops in the game. See, if this is the first time you played the game, and you somehow managed to not be spoiled at all, that was quite a reveal. Like, I'm sure whoever wrote the lore to this game had that in mind from the beginning. Maybe not in version 1. But the threads to this were always there. all the way back to the first time he applied the Hurt. He can't temper you, why is that? Maybe it's because you are already touched by another. Heidelin. Should probably replace the necklace item. Well, he got away. Be somewhere else. Right. If Square Enix ever wanted to remaster Final Fantasy VI, like most of the stuff they need is already in this game, or CD. Heck, they could remaster the first 6 games using just the sets from this one. Back when 1.0 was released, I did take note of how much reference to 6. I know I mentioned it before when I played this with Ubiway. But the prototype before version 1. Has a city that looks a lot like this one. And back when they introduced new jobs. The first time. They took screenshots from here. Which meant that this place existed before version 1 did. Had a good sleep musicians. In case you forgot, the Sin Eater kills someone. They also turn into a Sin Eater. Crun. I don't think a world that operates on MMO repeat mechanics would be a very good world to live in. I've read enough isekais that use MMORPG stuff as a crutch for storytelling. Hey, you know levels. This world has levels on your skills. You can learn anything you want, but you are capped by level. You know Adventurers Guilds? This world has that too. You need a license to kill monsters. But what if they attack me first? No license. No kill. You can't even gather grass without a license. Union rules. Don't get me wrong, these isekai web novels, Mango and Anan, do have some unique things to them. But far too many of them basically go, you got hit by Truck Khan, and now you live in a world that operates exactly how you. Skyrim, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest work. Right down to kings and nobles. At least none of these bloody isekai web novels base themselves on a free-to-play premium gacha heck game. Hello, Kaide. Has anyone asked why Bothri seems to be king of the Sin Eaters? Trust me, the reveal is Kinda. Much. You know, there is one amusing thing about the tower. So take note of the shape. Look familiar. So let me pose a question. this inside or outside the tower? 'Cause this is the only room we get to see inside. And it clearly has reversed TARDIS energy. Cause this room and door is clearly smaller than the outside. So my thinking is that, as the Exarch said, the town was built around the city in the first. But in the source, this is where the labyrinth is. That's the only thing that really makes sense. Especially when you play the twinning. Since the twinning looks like Circus Tower. It's also very possible that this entire city was built pre-version 1. And they just plopped the Crystal Tower in. Like you can't tell me this is not a loading tunnel. Yep, that's what I'm referring to. All the pre-version 3 areas had places that used to be loading tunnels. There are aspects of this town that also suggest where the airship should have been. This place, I keep getting lost in. Stinky herb. Like what would beer and Salampa smell like? Elvinde. One said, "Num num new rat." Now, hopefully, I don't end up vomiting all this up in 5 hours. 'Cause of what happened last morning. Image spoiler Selch. Image smug Selch. See, Emmett says the truth we know to be true but don't want to hear. That cause nobody else is a town. Bah. Here's a silly question. Why is both the source and the first using the same money? And whose head is on it? Barely a difference. Must be another way out. Okay, if it's not lookout, what is it? Okay, every sightseeing log in Shadowbringers is lookout. Is this not a sightseeing spot? The trolley problem. I fight gods, a man isn't gonna win. Sorry, your buddy got spanked a little too hard. I've been working on the railroad. I could also make the joke off. I'm the warrior of light, not an engineer. But actually, the only crafting class above 21 IO have is goldsmith. Which is the most engineering of them? You literally make jewelry. Best grading class to have since you can make all your own accessories if you're actually willing to spend piles of money. Machinist is actually a gun ranger. In a way, they count as an engineer if you're talking about robots. I don't remember how to summon the pet. Maybe it only summons in battle. The last time I used it was way back in Heavensward. And when I tried to use it last week, none of the skills were disabled. So that tells me I need to relearn it. At least with White Mage, Astrologian, and Scholar, I know how to play those. How to play them nearly the same. Apparently Selene was removed in 6.4. So yes, it's the default healing fairy. And Selene was the buff fairy. They only differed in what AAOP they cast. In Shadowbringers, apparently, they just gave both fairies the same skills. Overall, Raiders preferred Scholar because it can do more DPS. And since Selene could do the speed above both, that was well. Night pick. Varnish is plastic. Even in high fantasy environments, plastic is not a thing. Ew. So to have plastic, you need to have oil. This game does have oil. It also has rubber. But I've not seen any plastic crafting material though. Why not ask Sid in the source? Is there not a Sid of the first? Lawasuk. And that's 1.0 flashbacks. We're doing mining without doing the mining job. You'd have thought the devs would have at least told you to go get a pickaxe. Are we done yet? Don't make me go back down. This music was used in 1.0. It's alive. It's alive. Meanwhile. Magic. That's time travel speak. One sec. Hello, Strubby D. Are you going to bed? Yeah, I think you rated in as the ads were ending. Dang it, stream elements show me more than the last message. Hello, Christelle Fangstress. Thank you for the follow, Mrs. Verwinthisline. I fight gods, this is Peanuts. That's like my reaction every time someone is like, you are stronger than you look. Yeah, well, Yakuza, it's always like 6 goons versus you. Anyway, dude, I just beat up 4 of chairmen of the clan. What makes you think you'll have better luck? Yeah. Dang it, 1 set. Neither. I actually dumped the entire 200 of roast beef into 3 wraps. That cost $6 for the meat. It cost $8 for the cheese. When people say it's cheaper to make your own sandwich, they're lying. It's only true if you make tiny sandwiches. Like it cost $15 just to get the meat and cheese for 2 sandwiches, or about 1 foot long sub worth. Like, good God, people, the price of cheese in Canada is extortion. Like, I was looking at the price of the Havarti cheese, and it was like $20 for like 8 slices. I ain't paying that. That was a little mod. Fortunately, healers have like a dozen different heals. Why? I was expecting the minecart game from 6th. How do you survive? How many times does Thancred die again? Hello, Serafini. Oh, he's dead again. It's the Echo Hetty. This is what happened to the characters you met at the end of Stormblood. It's always funny how nobody asks, are you okay? Do you need a minute after these Echo flashbacks? Hey look, instant hair dye. Oh look, he's alive. Say, says the one borrowing someone else's name. I got up to get a drink and then was sneezing non-stop for a minute. Ack, really? Fine, be right back. I'm starting to think the reason I must have got sick yesterday must have been dehydration. Thank you for the follow. Alrighty, Taylor. Oh god, it's a really heavy. Really? Really? Legs going up. This kid is way back from the beginning. Witnessed one of the people turn into sin eaters. Hello, Mug. That would be funny, and kind of ironic since the planet was hit by a moon at the end of 1.0. Time to make some gear disappear. Yes, Mama. 'Cause every day I wake up and it's like I'm thirsty. And that didn't happen at the old apartment. Definitely more dramatic when not a Lalafell. Wow. That says Heaven's Word, I think. I think I'm gonna go to bed. Probably. Good night.